What's up, guys? I have this GMC Sierra. It's my daily driver. It has a ticking lifter, so I'm about to do um, put lifters in it. I'm also going to do a cam and some shorty headers, a few other things. Figure I'll film it to talk about some of the things that I have to do. I'm not real familiar with LS stuff. Um, I know a lot of people that are familiar with it. I have a lot of friends that mess with them. I've always dealt with Japanese engines for the most part, so it's going to be kind of a learning experience for me. Um, I think I bought everything that I'm going to need, but it should be a fun little project. I'm going to pull the heads off. I'm going to put a stage 2 truck cam in it from BTR, valve springs, some other stuff. But first I'm going to start by tearing the truck down. I'm probably going to tear it down further than most people would to do this sort of project, just because I want to make it a little easier. And I don't, I'm going to pull the radiator support. Most people, I think, just pull the radiator, but I'd like to be able to get in there and kind of get to everything a little bit easier. I'm also going to pull the fender liners, which is what I'm about to do. So it should be a fun project, and let's get it rolling. Okay, I've got the wheel off. I'm going to go ahead and pull this fender liner out. It has a 10mm bolt here, 2/7 here, which go to the bumper, and then a 7mm here, 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 and here. And then the rest of it's going to be little push pin clips and a few wire harness clips up here. And that's going to give me access to kind of the side of the engine here, and just kind of be out of the way. Okay, I've got all the clips out except for the wiring harness clips, and a lot of times you can just reach up here and just kind of push them out. And that's it. I'm looking here, and you can see we've gained access to a lot more of the engine, as well as this is going to be the transmission computer, and the other side is going to be the engine computer, and we're going to take those out and get those tuned. But it really gives you access to a lot of stuff, the collectors, the header bolts themselves, and that sort of thing. And next I'm going to get the other side, and then I'm going to pull this bumper cover and grill off and work on getting the radiator out. So the next step is I'm going to take this painted bumper cap off. It has two 7mm screws in it right here, and then the rest of it's just kind of pop out. Kind of have to pull on it pretty good. Then it's got some clips across the bottom. I'll show you those, and then we have to pull the other side out also. So on the bottom it has a plastic skid plate cover. It's got 4 15mm bolts in it. I took it out to gain a little bit more access to the engine, and it has little Christmas tree push style clips right here. You can just get under them and push them up. It's kind of a radiator baffle to guide the air, and you'll be able to pull it back out of the way. It has a sight shield that runs across this. That is it works as kind of an air guide to push the air through the radiator and all. It has some push pins in it. You take it out, gives you access. You have 10mm bolts, 4 of them across the top of the grill. It's connected to the upper bumper pad. I don't know if you can see it. There's some clips here that you'll have to squeeze with some pliers to get them to break loose without damaging the grill. Now I'm going to work on getting the rest of the bumper pad and grill. Kind of comes out as an assembly, so I'm going to take the hard bumper or the metal bumper off as well, to be able to move the radiator support, make it a little bit easier to walk up to the front of the truck to work on it. And to do that, once you get your upper pad off and your fender liners out, there's a 15mm bolt here on both sides. Of course, you want to unplug your fog lights if you have them. And then on top, there is 2 bolts. There's one here and one on the other side, kind of behind this piece of rubber. You take those off and the bumper will just slide right off. So right now I'm evacuating the refrigerant out of the air conditioning, since I'm going to pull the front of the truck apart. My next step, while I was doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take the factory air box off and just see what other little stuff I can take off the top. Okay, so one of the next steps to pulling the radiator core support out is it has some brackets. This is an additional battery tray. You're going to have these bolts here. You're going to take those out. That battery tray is going to come out, and that's going to it has another bracket here that connects it to the radiator support, so that allows us to move the radiator support freely. Also going to have to take out the windshield washer tank. It's not a big deal. It will make a mess, so you want to make sure you plug the line up. We have the same bracket and tray over here for the air box, so we're going to take that out, so that'll free us up. So I'm going to take those out now. On the passenger side of the truck, I've got the fender liner removed. There's also another little shield right here. There's a clip and a bolt in it. Removed it so I can get to this lower radiator hose so I can drain the fluid out of the radiator. Now while the radiator is draining, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my upper radiator hose from the radiator and the engine, and from the water pump. I've got a new water pump to put on. I'm also going to go ahead and disconnect the heater coil hoses. Got the transmission lines disconnected. I'm going to go ahead and pull the radiator. There's two 10mm bolts behind this bracket that'll allow me to pull this off and be able to drop the condenser out. I also may be able to drop the condenser out if I pull the radiator and go to the inside. So we'll see in just a minute. The power steering cooler, I can just fish it through, sit it to the inside like that. I have to, again, you want to make sure the battery is disconnected. I have to unplug the airbag sensors, and that's the only thing left wiring wise still on the radiator core support. And then after that, there's some body mount bushings. I'll have to unbolt those. There's 3 bolts in the fender on each side that holds the radiator support. And you'll need to loosen up the back fender bolts in the top to allow the fenders to spread just a little bit. And then the core support will come right out of the way. And then I'll be able to lay the power steering cooler over the outside of the frame rail along with some of the other lines, and everything will kind of be out of the way, and I'll have access where I can walk straight up to the engine. Okay, well, it's day 2. It's Thanksgiving, actually. Thanksgiving afternoon. I'm going to come in and try to get some more of this stuff knocked out. I cut out yesterday, had a couple guys come over, had to help do a little bit of work on a differential. And I went ahead and took the headers off, and I took the radiator support the rest of the way out. All that stuff is pretty basic.